Ko tararo te monga, ko waikanai te awa, I tipu ake aho I Gateshead, England, ko Wayne Maxwell takutane no warrapa ai, ko Flynn Roa, ko Tara aku tamariki, ko Amarjit Maxwell aho, tina koto, tina tato kato. My name's Amarjit Maxwell and I'm the Programme Director for the Healthcare Home Collaborative, and I'm pleased to be here with you today. I have Claudia Johns with me today also, and she will share some of her thinking from a lived experience perspective. I'll hand over to Claudia to introduce herself.
Kia ora Amarjit, and kia ora everybody. Thank you for having me here. Ko reo te aho mā ngati horatia toku hapu ko ngā pui mā te rarawa toku iwi. Kia ora whānau.
Kia ora, Claudia. I'd like to acknowledge my team, Jess White and Kirsten Kyle, as well as our network of leads that have already hugely input into our thinking. Also our consumers, Fire Merle Samuels and Gary Sutcliffe, who are online today.
I'd also like to acknowledge Merle, Gary, and everyone else who's come before me in this sector, this part of the sector. They've been huge inspiration for me and they inform all of this kaupapa for me. I'd also like to thank the collaborative for their inclusion and for having the foresight to understand that true co-design is crucial, in my opinion.
Kia ora, Claudia. So thank you to the Federation for this opportunity to share the thinking around collective action for communities, Hapori Ohu Ngātahi. This mahi seeks to bring to life localities through a collective impact approach, one that works from the grassroots up. This approach has been refined to suit Aotearoa New Zealand, where it forges strong leadership, iwi partnership, and starts with community aspirations. It encourages joined up actions, is underpinned by shared measurement, builds trust through continuous community engagement, and all this is facilitated by a dedicated backbone that is agile. Sounds pretty easy, right? So let's imagine a future where equity for Māori is front and centre and all our communities flourish. Iwi partnerships are strong and leadership is inclusive. Our grassroots organisations work together towards community aspirations where the power of decision making is truly shared. Localities offer sustainable and seamless services where digital inclusion enables efficient access. The Ara is joined up and reflects health and social metrics. Whakawhanaungatanga is all about trust and authentic relationships. Without it, we will not progress. Collaboration moves only at the speed of trust.
I think we all understand whanaungatanga and whānau as well-used words, but it's the whaka. The whaka of whakawhanaungatanga is the action of creating whanaungatanga. And the key message here is connections. So in whakawhanaungatanga, what actions are you taking and what connections are you creating through that action? When whānau see trusted collaboration working, they experience trusting that collaboration. And in that space, I also see that that collaboration will alleviate the frustration and burnout in frontline workers because they also see how korowai care is needed. What do you think, Amarjit?
I agree wholeheartedly. And this is just part of the dream that can become our reality through the health reforms. In our reimagined future, a locality will provide a seamless and inclusive journey of care that provides equitable health and well-being outcomes for all Aotearoa. However, it isn't actually our role to design a future rohi. The community already knows where the gaps in their care are, as do providers like midwives, NGOs, the physiotherapists, and other care professionals that support whānau every day. The collective wisdom will vary from location to location and will inform how a locality will look, which will provide true korowai care for whānau.
It's that korowai care thing, it's that wraparound care that we're looking for. You know, that's what, when whānau experience that, they feel the warm handovers from one professional to another professional. They and in that experience, it's cementing that trust that you're creating through whakawhanaungatanga and those partnerships. I think that's crucial.
Absolutely, a real human approach in reality. So a little bit about the collaborative. We empower healthcare professionals, sharing insights and lessons learned, enabling greater collaboration so that they better support outcomes for community, whānau and providers. When we change and challenge the way we think about and approach healthcare, we transform healthcare outcomes and prioritise Māori and honouring Te Tiriti o Waitangi. So I'd also like to share some key learnings that Dr. Andrew Miller covered as part of a recent Collective Impact webinar series. The advice he gave quite clearly was, before we embark on our journey of localities, think about these lessons. Develop your kaupapa early. Isn't that right, Claudia?
Yeah. And that whakawhanaungatanga, because we know that any collaboration moves at the speed of trust. So, you know, that I can't implore with you more to consider that as a starting point here.
Absolutely. And I think we are all on that journey now, which is really quite reassuring. So then the lessons went on to say, seek a skilled facilitator independent from your community. Governance, project management, relationship, whakawhanaungatanga skills are essential. As we've just heard, these may come from kororo within your community, externally, or from the collaborative, and independent of your community. We can certainly support. Engage with loss and engage with power dynamics. Have courageous conversations. Value informal relationships as well as the formal. Ensure meticulous processes and documentation, which sounds a little dry, doesn't it, Claudia?
Yeah, I think the language around this stuff can feel quite exclusive, particularly from a whānau or consumer perspective. So, you know, giving yourself some flexibility around this stuff. And, you know, for me, locality doesn't land at all. But I love the word rohi because I'm in this place, even though I don't whakapapa to it. This is my place. So, you know, flexibility around this stuff to resonate with the people you're working with, I think helps create whakawhanaungatanga.
I think that's really good advice. I'd like to quote Dr. Andrew Miller, as he's a bit of a legend in our collaborative as one of our clinical leads. He states that we need to start with the aspirations and goals of what matters to whānau, and then see how backbone organisations need to support localities. We, in our view, need a vehicle for change and implementation to support the many change agents on the ground. The collaborative are doing this for the healthcare home model of care, and we can definitely do the same for localities. We value the context experts like Claudia and those with the lived experience. Our team is able to support locality readiness before legislation kicks in. Why wait? Already we are developing locality dashboards to join up health and social wellbeing data, creating locality profiles and asset-based community development frameworks. We act independently across the sector to support transformation at scale and pace through a network of peer shared learning. Think of us as your resource kitty.
Yeah, and back to that language thing, because, you know, language creates the culture of any group, and culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? So I think the single biggest pivot we need to make in health and social services is that welcoming, inclusive and strength-based language, because again, that language will make the thinking accessible to me, my whānau, my neighborhood, my community, my rohi, because words or kupu have a modi or a life of their own, and that change in language will empower that connection and whakawhanaungatanga. And I invite you to consider that this is a change you can make now, not waiting for any of this. Do it now, today, in every interaction you have.
Oh, that's powerful, Claudia. Thank you. So thanks again for this opportunity to share our thinking around our co-design approach. We will share a summary of what we have talked about this morning or this afternoon, along with our strengths-based language glossary, which is just one of the resources from our network. And we would happily receive feedback on this because it is a living document.
Okay, and just on that note, Amarjit, I'd like to leave you with a whakatauki, if I may. nā tō rauru, nā taku rauru, ka ora ai te iwi.
With your food basket and my food basket, the people will thrive. So let's make our dream a reality through the reforms, through shared learnings and whakawhanaungatanga. Te he Māori ora.
Ti he Māori ora.
Kia ora.